going to try and keep this a hell of a lot shorter than previous streams where I've accidentally had like hour-long state of death. Try and get some data input done on this stream as well, because we've got one of the new features added to the roadmap, actually merged and uploaded. So while that's loading in, let's take the opacity filter off. There we go. Okie dokie. So, avoid duplication of recipe selection has been implemented. I can now set state, collection, group, and pool specific recipe selections as opposed to just pool specific ones. Something that I overlooked when I added this is that changing the production item recipe is changing the pool level recipe selection. So having the ability to override the default recipe selection for a given production item without necessarily creating a new recipe selection is kind of like a bit of a weird concept. I did introduce some bugs. They have hopefully been fixed. One of which definitely been fixed. The other of which toJSON, which is the method invoked when the document gets saved, it forgot to get rid of the proxy value when it was being manipulated, so the toJSON method called the old proxy value, not the up-to-date one, which meant that it came out as an empty object when the new save file, like save document version, is specifically saying don't spit these empty objects out. Made some progress on the test coverage. We've gone from well, we can actually just run that live. I can get the window open. The shuffling around you have to do when you've got incognito windows open. Oh, I can't actually merge incognito windows. Okay, that's weird. Okay, I guess I'll just skip it out. Basically, the coverage, even though I've added code, has gone from 45% to 57%. Some of the new code added hasn't been given coverage, but the new class for recipe selections has 100% coverage. So I'm happy with the overall progress on that particular ticket. Auto upgrade save file versions wasn't something that was actually on the list the last time I did the state of dev shit. But it was in the back of my mind that if I'm going to be having JSON schema based JSON document import export, that I should have some mechanism for having them automatically upgraded. Because I was adding new structures to the JSON document, I felt like this was a good point to do this work, so it got done. Yay. Load JSON, save JSON testing done, so that not all of that code path might be fully covered, but the general principle of having a test fail if an export doesn't meet, well, if an import doesn't meet the expectations of the general principle of that workflow being tested is there. It could be fleshed out, but that stuff's going to go under ticket 30 over there. Now, when did we last stream this stuff? May 31st. So, vertical alignment, toggle indicator broken. I swear that was done. That was gone over on the stream. Have I just forgotten to update the gaming site and I'm going back a bit too far? Hang on a second while I check the YouTube channel. See, when was that one uploaded? Oh yeah, that was like I haven't updated the website. That's why. So I am checking a bit too far back. So basically, anything this far back was already done. So I've already gone over that one. Yeah. So like that's all the closed tickets. There has been some new tickets. But not that many. I think like I've gone over the major one of auto upgrading the save file version. There is a demo file I have on hand which hasn't gone into the GitHub repo yet. Because it occurred to me one of the things I can be doing with this landing screen is I can be having people's recommendations for recipe selections to aim for. And then you can load those into either like global presets or task-specific collections and group presets. So if I find that file, I can load it in as an example. See, we got steel ingot, iron ingot, copper ingot, gold ingot. Well, it's gold ingot. It's Caterium ingot, but again, in the docs.json stuff, it's called gold ingot. Reinforced iron plates are steel plate reinforced, which was interesting to find out when I was doing this stuff under the hood. And then screws as well. So if we load that in, actually, yes. Before I do that, let's see what happens if I just go new file. And put steel ingot in. It's like, oh yeah, like that. And then all of those presets are related to reinforced iron plates. So if we go find reinforced iron plate, we put that in, and we get those recipes. So if we load up the in progress file, and then we add reinforced iron plate again, we now get a completely different set of things. So this is on like the reinforced iron plate recipe. I probably should have put it on the stitched iron plate, which have I done that? Oh, steel plate reinforced. That's right. Now I remember what that one's for. Right, that. Is for that, and also there's this bug in which I still haven't figured out how to fix the damn thing yet, but there's easy workarounds for it. So yeah, in case industrial pipe already pre-filled. So UI changes that weren't in the notes over here. So a bunch of settings for the state of the global values and things have been moved into out of the header and into a little settings drop down here. So we've got, well, that doesn't do much on this save. Loop, doop. That's been moved down here. Follow current pool. That's still working. In there, current display mode. And then we've got edit global recipe selection. There's a field which should be showing in here, which isn't. Oh, hang on a second, these don't have any recipe selections. That's why! Okay, fun. Again, me not being prepared for these demos. Okie dokie, now we go in. So we've got the global state here. So in here it says solid steel ingot. Now let's say I want to have a pool which uses coke steel ingot. So I'll go change that. But then I want something that has that as the basis of like a new preset. So I can put that in, and there you go. The collection now has cloned that resolved recipe selection. So that pool only has one recipe set on it, but clone, like the way clone resolved recipe selection works is it fully resolves like all of the recipes selections from the parent state, collection, and group, and then obviously the pool itself, which is one of the to-dos for the feature. So something I kind of want to do here as part of gameplay things is I want to update my save file, because we've managed to get through the state of dev in about 11 minutes, which makes a nice change. There was a slight delay to getting this work done. CSS put out an unannounced update to the QA site, and it broke the QA site fork that I have. So that meant more work for me, unfortunately. It's since been fixed. There are some new fields which haven't been incorporated. So one of the things on my back burner to-do list is to do a complete rewrite. Just because the hosting solution wasn't suitable for the initial way that it was implemented. So I did this whole Docker Compose thing, and it worked really well, and then I went and found out, oh, the hosting solution doesn't support Docker Compose, it only supports Docker. So I want to rewrite it to a Docker image. Maybe. Or at least something that's easier to deploy, maintain, and pull stuff down from. So we're going to load our previous save. So putting a recipe selection in for this into this facility is probably going to be kind of redundant. Same thing for these. But what we can do is we can go into the main facility group collection thing here. Yeah, I'm getting confused because I'm hovering next to a group button. So we can go into the recipe selection here. I could clone a recipe from one of the existing pools, but I'm just going to add a thing in which I know is there, which is the steel ingots. And I have actually just realised, no, I shouldn't put it there, I should put it globally. So, yeah, for me personally, the best approach would be to put it globally. This might break some of the stuff with the Space Elevator facility, because that uses its own like recipe selection things. But by and large, when I'm making steel ingots, I make them with solid steel ingots. Of course, because that's recalculating, I can't interact with the UI. There we go, so that's solid steel ingot. So now, anything which didn't have a recipe selection on the pool would now be switched to using solid steel ingot, which is effectively not going to change anything because previously everything was manually set to solid steel ingot. So I'm going to go up here and then check which recipes we're using and see if we can fit them into this global state. So yeah, we've just done solid steel ingots. Steel pipes is redundant because that doesn't have an alt. In case of industrial beam, that's one that we do use. So we can add that to the selection. Set it to egg case industrial pipe, because that is the default one that we use. Now, setting the recipe selection for heavy modular frame might be redundant here, because like anything that needs heavy modular frame should be coming out of this production floor. It's not going to be making its own stuff unless it's like special cases like the space elevator facility, which should have its own overrides in the collection level recipe selection. So for autosave, which I really should have disabled that because I'm not doing any actual in-game work, I think. There we go. Okay, so modular frame, same thing we were just saying about heavy modular frame. Anything that makes modular frame, anything that needs modular frame should be coming from here. So sticking it into the state would be redundant. Yeah, I think to put into the default recipe selection from here. Now, generally, I would recommend stitched iron plate. It's just here, for some reason, during this playthrough I ended up going with adhered iron plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put stitched iron plate in as the default, but I want to make sure that that particular manifold on my calculator is represented with adhered. So we set that to stitched. And then we're in here. So I clone this from to storage. And then we set that to adhered. Yeah, that's fine. So previously these two pools had their recipe selections set manually. Now if I add a new manifold to this floor and I click add pool, it's going to have these recipe selections here already added. So yay there. Here we go. So we want to have global recipe selection, iron plate, add that. It does occur to me I should add a thing in for add ability to remove items from the recipe selection. Because I don't currently have that on. I'm going to add that as a P2 because it's one of those things where you can manually do that just by editing the save file. I want to get into this habit of referring to the JSON stuff as document, not save file, because generally in the Satisfactory community, if you refer to a save file, you are referring to the game's save file, and I want to make it clear that this calculator currently doesn't have save file support. Emphasis on currently, because it might eventually. Okay, here we go. Recipe selection. Ability to remove items from a recipe selection. I mean, there's a column for it, where actions, so it's like, not like there wouldn't be anything, it's not like there wouldn't be anywhere for it to go. So we've got those in, that's on steel ingots, and this is just a separate manifold. Okay. So other recipes that we know that we're going to have in as global defaults are the ingot recipes. Now, off the top of our head, I honestly couldn't remember whether I have pure titanium ingots in or not. I do remember on this playthrough that I had a tendency to not go for pure ingots, just because setting up the water extractors and retooling the manifolds like so far into the game is just like really tedious. So we've already got the steel ingot recipe in, so we can go add I'm going to leave aluminium ingot by itself, but I'm going to add like these ones. So I know off the top of my head iron ingot is set to alloy ingot. So we want to go up 2 floors. You can see here we are using copper alloy ingot. Yeah, that's getting really annoying. New P2 issue. Enhancement. Recipe selection. Change recalculation workflow in recipe selection dialog. Only recalculate on close or change. Because having a way to select the recipe that I want from this drop down here, it's tedious. Right, now we want Caterium ingot, which is 1 floor up. And it looks like we're using the default recipe. Now, there is a thing in the code which I don't think I'm using by default. It will filter out I get anything that uses default recipes. I'm not sure whether I should actually expose that through the UI, because if I add the ability to manually remove recipe selections, then that kind of makes it moot to some degree, but also I don't know how likely it is that default recipes are ever going to change. Because if that option is there and it's enabled by default, and default recipes change, then you effectively get data loss. It's intended to avoid adding redundant information to the export, but yeah, there's concerns over data loss there. So one thing you might notice if you use this yourself, which you can't see on Twitch because it doesn't capture like the drop downs, previously selected items in the recipe selection get disabled, so you can't click on them. And there was a bug where you clicked on here. So if I click Caterium ingot, wait for it to finish recalculating, and select pure. So there was a bug in it where, this recipe selection thing up here has Caterium ingot selected, and if I click this again, what it used to do was it would reset it to the default, because the default action of adding a recipe is to use the default. But I found that really annoying. Something I suppose I could do is I could disable the action button if this is disabled, but it might be confusing. It's also a little bit confusing at the moment if I click on here and nothing happens, but one should hope that if one has Caterium ingot selected up here, one could read down and see that it's already there. There's only so far you can go to combat change blindness. Here we go, we want to add this as a default recipe as well. Oh no, it's going to quick wire. There we go. Oh yeah, we want to check a couple of sheets, don't we? So the impact of what I'm doing here is going to be that when I'm fleshing out all of these other facilities that take parts from this facility before this facility is being added, is that they will be using the correct recipes on their ingredients lists. This is purely a matter of having the reports be semi-accurate before all of the inputs finished. Just the benefit of that means that when I come to add this facility, these recipes will already be selected, so I've got less work and thinking and clicking to do. So, fun. No, not copper raw. There we go, copper sheet. Oh yeah, wire and cable, we want those in, don't we? I suppose there's a thing I could add on that little task. Recalculate. Add checkbox to pause auto recalculation on change. So what I'm thinking here is if I'm adding a bunch of recipes and I've got a fairly bulky calculator set up like I do at the moment, I don't necessarily want to wait for it to recalculate before I'm done. So if I have a checkbox up here or a toggle button, let's edit that to do list item. Add checkbox or toggle button. Yeah, if I have some means of pausing the auto recalculation, that'll just make things go a little bit more smoothly than just saying defer until change. Yes, wire and cable. So previously I might have had the Caterium wire as a default recipe. but for, like, on this playthrough, it just became a lot easier to just do it as copper wire. Now, these both being default recipes would feel a little bit redundant to add into my global list of defaults, so we'll leave that as that. So now we pop the save file open, and we're going to update it in VS Code. There we go. So now I want to search for recipe selections and remove some shit. Oh, actually, what I could do, maybe? No. Yeah, I was thinking I could go through here and like set defaults for the space elevator facility, but the manifolds that are planned for you are going to be that convoluted that actually adding collection or group level defaults might be a bit weird. It might actually work for group level defaults if groups are representative of production floors, because the idea being that manifolds that flow into each other might have different recipe selections than similar items on being deployed elsewhere. So, you know, well, for example, copper ingots, I might use alloy ingots in one place, but use just pure ingots or default ingots in another, just because of convenience. So, let's see, we have 45 recipe selections in here. What is the ID of the first pool in here? Pool 49. So that's got its own recipe set. That one's fine. I could set this one at the like the group level default. Let's see, where is that in the calculator? Fuse modular frames. Yeah, aluminium casings is its own manifold for both of these two manifolds. Yeah, where's the mouse? There it is. So having a group level default would be kind of redundant because they're all getting made in the same manifold. So yeah, that one can stay as is. Steel ingots. We can, in theory, remove that one. And that one. Oh, one thing to notice, there's now a version header. That's just future-proofing for upgrades, because at the moment version 3 is detected by having version 4 validation fail. I might end up removing the version 1 and 2 files altogether. It's just at the moment there are some back references between schema to avoid, you know, duplicating the effort there. Adhered iron plate. What did I put in as the global default? Stitched, so yes. That should be in as a group level thing. Which it is, so that's good. So I can take that out. Steel ingots again. Case industrial beams. Yep, that was added to the global what's it. Heavy modular frame. I don't think I added that to the global default, did I? Oh, yeah, because I was waffling on about it. Everything that needs heavy modular frame should be coming from this manifold anyway, so setting a global default would be moot. It should, however, be added to the heavy modular frame group default, rather than setting it on the individual manifolds. So if I save that, load it in, and I have an error. What do I have an error on? Let's try that again. Validator errors. Oh, lots of errors. There's like 198 errors in there. Well, I guess that's the end of like the live streaming portion of things. I'm going to go fix that bug. Because the export should never produce invalid JSON, but obviously there's some disconnect between what I've put in as the description of the save file, the save document, and the actual process it goes through to generate it. So that's going to be all for now. We've still got like a 40-minute stream, but the actual state of dev was only 11 minutes. So yay, I consider that a win in terms of making these streams more efficient. Yay. So that's going to be all for now. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.